Alright, this is a tutorial on how to get started with easy diffusers. So the first thing you want to do is have a machine running Docker, a command prompt with Docker on it. You want the GitHub page, you want to have PyTorch open. So the first thing we want to do on our Docker machine is to make a directory we can actually use. So we're going to make a directory, I'm going to call it example storage. And we're going to cd into example storage. Now one thing we need to do beforehand is to chmod it so we can actually have correct permissions in here. I just normally do chmod 777-recursive./ Now if we've done that, we can actually pull the Docker image. So we're going to do docker pull, and then we can just scroll down and figure out the names down there. Mr. Martin Watson / easy diff tag version 2. Once you've done that, we're ready to launch the image here. So we're going to do docker run -detached, feed it all our GPUs. I'm going to call it diffq. We need to specify the platform. This should always be Linux. Our port number, I'm going to choose 7788. The internal port is 7377. I'm gonna do restart always, and we need to mount this. I'm going to use the current folder that I'm in, so type equals bound bind source is our present working directory, and our target is our /app/V volume, and then our image name, which is Mr. Martin Watson / easy diff version 2. If everything's going right, we can do watch docker logs diffq, and we should see that it should be installed in pip dependencies. And what you want to do is just wait till this finish. Alright, and once you finish installing all of the dependencies in our default environment, there's still one more thing we need to do. Because this is heavily dependent on what system you use, I do not actually do this automatically. So we need to do docker exec-it, the name of your container, and then bash. And we just want to navigate over into our volume. This is very important too. You need to do this inside the Docker container, not simply just activate it on your host machine if you're doing a SSH session like this. Once you are into the Docker image, you make your way to volume, you make your way to environments, and now we can just do .default /bin/activate to activate our Python environment. And we need to go over to PyTorch or whatever system you plan on using, and you need to know which CUDA version you're compatible with. This is running on, if I do NVIDIA SMI, we are running 12.2, which means we can do just a regular pip install. Sweet. Now that we have that installed, we can actually come out of here now. So we can do deactivate, and then we can do exit, and we can do clear. So if we do docker logs, docker ps-a, we can see that this is currently up, and we're at port 7788. So if we go to our IP address here, 17. We need to first register an account. This could be any account the Gmail doesn't actually matter. Now that we're inside, I'm going to do a little bit of explaining here. So we're accessing this over HTTP. You can reverse proxy it and access it over HTTP, yes. What this means is that we don't actually have any of the video or the camera, because these are not available under the HTTP protocol unless you're using a local host, unless it's locally hosted website. Here we have the configuration file. This comes default with one configuration, anime.py. If you want other configurations, you can go over to my GitHub and scroll up to example configuration. There'll be a bunch you can select from here. And if you want, and if you add those configurations to your project, you also need to update your config.json. Not that one. It might actually just be in here, not in there. Since I have volume, config.json. You need to copy this over into your config.json. Now you can find those things inside of storage, whatever the bind folder you were working with. So in here would be example storage. Inside of models, you'll have, this is where you would drop the the example configurations here, such as these. Drop those there, and then you would edit your config.json file with the config.json that's located inside of volume. So now we got that out the way. We come locked and loaded with just one, so we can just test that one out real quick. If we go over to here, we need to make a new chat. If we type, it should download the model and then spit out an image. If you want to know what's happening here, we could do watch docker logs diff eq. One, so we can just test that one out real quick. If we go over to here, we need to make a new chat. If we type, it should download the model and then spit out an image. If you want to know what's happening here, we could do watch docker logs diff eq. Sweet. And this covers just about everything. There's also a project section here. So this is if you have like a chat that, like a text chat, and the text chat has if you want the text chat to have like context. So if we wanted to do, I don't know, there's a text file here. We want to upload this to be context in our chat, so it works the same way as it does in Claude. So you'll have this, you can text a message, and it can, and the text chat can answer things about it. And you can disable it by just unselecting it that way. Enabling that selects it. Same here, if you unselect that, deselects the chat, select it, it selects the chat. And that is about